The early influence of European Renaissance on English. In our study of the course Chaucer and the Roots of English prescribed for semester 1, postgraduates in English language and literature, we start with Old English, that is, the Anglo-Saxons. We move through Middle English with the Norman invasion, and we come to the early periods of modern English. Here, we find a significant term, Renaissance. This is not something that is just limited to England. This is a European phenomenon. First, let us see something about the word Renaissance. In your study of science, at least during your school days, you must have come across the word nascent oxygen. The word nascent means birth, something new. So Renaissance, it's a French word, a word of French origin. It means rebirth. It is a social wave that marks the beginning of the modern age in Europe. We see the origins of Renaissance in the 14th century, and it's a wave that spread across till the 17th century. There is a Renaissance is seen as a cultural bridge between the Middle Ages or the medieval period and modern history. The origins of Renaissance is seen in Italy, where it started as a cultural movement and later it spread to the rest of Europe. Here is an account on the Renaissance. Please take a few moments to read through what is presented here. We move on. One major landmark related to the Renaissance is the fall of Constantinople. Of course, it doesn't mean that Renaissance sprouted after the fall of Constantinople. The base of Renaissance can be seen even earlier, but this is one landmark. Constantinople, the Western Roman Empire, had its fall when it was captured by the Ottoman Turks in 1453. So the scholars from these places, the Greek scholars, they migrated to Florence especially and other parts of Italy, carrying with them what all they considered valuable. And these were the manuscripts in the ancient languages like Greek and Latin. So they came and rested in Italy, in Florence, and they translated these works. They spread their new idea. So it's a rebirth, it's a return to the classics, something that remained hidden. It doesn't mean that a Renaissance just brought in some ancient stories, some ancient Greek stories and all. It brought in a dormant pattern of thinking, the questioning attitude, the desire to search for more, understanding man through philosophy. All these were found in the ancient Greek and Latin works of literary value, scholarly value. And with the Renaissance, the European world once again gets introduced to all this. So there's a new interest in classical scholarship and values. And as I mentioned, there is this quest to know more. So exploration and discovery of new lands, that became another feature of the Renaissance. It changed that views regarding science. Earlier, in the medieval period, Science was essentially connected with religion. And one example is that it advocated the geocentric universe, that Earth is the center of the universe. But with the Renaissance, there came in new ideas, new thinking, a possibility to consider that the sun is the center of our known universe. So that is a development. And there were many scholars who tried to find out uh, new inventions. People like Da Vinci, they began to think about even possibilities of flying. And the medieval period was a time when church dominated everything, but with the Renaissance, there's a loss of trust in church and religion. Another feature of the medieval period is the feudal system. This was dismantled in the Renaissance period. And we have many scientific inventions, especially the press, the printing paper, press, the paper. So Renaissance is a time when there is a reawakening, there is a new thinking, there are many new things, a new system of knowledge, bringing in of new ideas, which is a contrast to the medieval church-dominated patterns of thinking. Associated with the Renaissance is the term humanism, which is an intellectual movement. Humanism is considered as an earliest expression of the Renaissance. It was initiated by secular men of letters. So here we see a shift from the chains of religion, and humanism began and achieved its fruition first in Italy. The features of humanism. Its subject is human nature in all its various manifestations and achievements. It advocated syncretism, where it stressed the unity and compatibility of the truth found in all philosophical and theological schools and systems. It's a doctrine. So if religion teaches a doctrine, the humanists did not deny it just because it comes from religion. They will attempt to weigh it against other schools of thought, other doctrines of philosophy, and whatever the humanists advocated to others, which is to be believed, there should be a unity and compatibility of the truth. So this is a dynamic way of thinking. Humanism, the word is related to human, so it emphasizes the dignity of man. And there is a quest, a search for a rebirth of a lost human spirit and wisdom, which was under the shackles of religion. So humanism tries to discover that. The effect of humanism was to help men break free from the mental strictures imposed by religious orthodoxy, to inspire free inquiry and criticism, and to inspire a new confidence in the possibilities of human thought and creations. Take a moment to understand what is stated here. So here we have humanism as the intellectual principle of Renaissance. Some of the noted scholars of humanism: Erasmus, Sir Thomas More, John Colet. Let us come to Renaissance as it happened in England. Renaissance is a pan-European phenomenon. English Renaissance is associated with that. It dates from about the late 15th century going to the early 17th century. And the end of the Wars of the Roses and the rise of the Tudors can be considered to be one point which marks the birth of English Renaissance. Renaissance in England is different from Italian Renaissance. England had a strong tradition of literature in the English vernacular, and English use of printing press became very common, and it didn't give much emphasis to produce visual arts. The artists in England were mainly imported people. England as such focused more on literature, and through that automatically was the development of language. Iconoclasm, images that are symbols or representations. This came with the English Reformation when the church had a break between Catholics and Protestants. So Reformation is an offshoot of or considered as a byproduct of the Renaissance. So with Reformation, there is a development of one feature of arts, promoting icons rather than the traditional medieval religious art. If you go through this list, you will see the impact of Renaissance. All these writers belong to the Renaissance period. They are separated by a number of years, many of them. We have people from the 14th or the 15th century going to the 17th century. Of course, we have missed one name here, and that is Geoffrey Chaucer, who is considered as the morning star of English Renaissance. English Renaissance developed in the time of Chaucer, and Chaucer's ideas, Chaucer's thinking, Chaucer's writings, they were clear points through which we see the inflow of Renaissance into the British Isles and especially to England. So, a proper study and understanding of Geoffrey Chaucer has to be coupled with the study of English Renaissance. Thank you.